Hey, what's up guys, and welcome to another Arca Garage video. Today we're going to be checking out what is the ultimate diagnostic tool for Alfa Romeo. On one side we got the 2000 Euro Autel MK908, and on the other side we got the MultiEcuScan 4.7 registered version, which is going to cost you around 100 euros. Alright, first let's check out their pros and cons. We're gonna start with the MultiEcuScan. Now the main pro of this particular diagnostic tool is that it is very affordable. As I said, it's gonna cost you only around 100 euros. 50 of those euros are gonna have to be spent on these cables, and the software itself, the registered version, is gonna cost you 50 euros. Another pro of this tool is that it is able to do all of the functions, if not more, of the more expensive diagnostic tools. The main con is that you're gonna have to have a laptop or a tablet to use it. Alright, now let's go over the pros and cons of our Autel MK908. Now the main con of this particular tool is of course going to be its price. It costs 2000 euros. Now when it comes to its pros, this particular diagnostic tool can pretty much access all of the modules on different brands and models. So if you are a car mechanic, this kind of diagnostic tool is essential. So here's how this is gonna work. We're gonna scan individual modules using these scan tools, and we're gonna check out which one is the best for each one. Now make sure you stick around for the body control module, because that's where the biggest difference is. Alright, so we're gonna start with the Autel and with the engine ECU. I'm gonna hit diagnosis, control unit, we're gonna hit powertrain and the engine control module. Now here you got some of the standard option. You got the ECU information, so this is gonna give you just some of the basic specs on the ECU. Here you can read out the trouble codes. This is where we can start to compare these two diagnostic tools. So I'm gonna hit the live data, and essentially what this gives us is basically some of the information that the engine ECU is getting from the sensors, like battery voltage, air mass flow, engine load, knock counter, overboost counter, and so on. You can see that we got basically a huge list of the parameters that we can follow up on, and we are trying to find a certain fault. So this is always a good thing to have, and it's always better to have as much information as possible. So you can see that this list is quite big, and the good thing here is that we can also check the odometer. Alright, you can see that our odometer here is 204,837. So as I said, this is some of the standard stuff. Then we got the active test. This is also one of the things where we can compare these two diagnostic tools. So you can see we got the throttle command, the malfunction indicator, lamp, fuel pump relay command, cooling fan, and so on. So for example, if I hit the cooling fan 1, so you can see that I can actually turn it on, and I don't know how well can you hear it, but the fan is actually on right now. So this is very useful function when I'm trying to diagnose a certain issue. So the fan, for example, is not working, I know that I either got a faulty fan or that there is somewhere a problem in the circuit. So I'm gonna hit off. Now when it comes to special functions, so again, you got some of the standard stuff here. You got the deactivation of power limitation, you got the mega knock counter reset, neutral signal learning, startup with a code card. This is actually an interesting one. You got that security card from the car. Before you could actually start the car just using a gas pedal and ignition, but on Alfa Romeo Giulietta you can't do that. You gotta use diagnostic tool to start up your car like that. let's see what the system test got. So we got the self-adaptive parameters reset. So for example, if I replace the O2 sensor, or if I clean the throttle body or something like that, I can use this function and the system is gonna relearn the parameters. So that would be for the engine ECU. Now let's check out the MultiEcuScan. Now for this one, you of course gotta have either tablet or a laptop or something like that. So I'm gonna select my car from the list and I'm gonna hit connect. Alright, so here again we got our main screen, which is going to show up the fault codes. The good thing about this diagnostic tool is that it gives you possible causes for a certain diagnostic codes right here in this section. We also got some of the basic info here when it comes to the ECU specs. When we go to the parameters, so this is basically same as the live data on the last one. So again, we can check out the odometer. You can see it gives us the same number of 204,000, and you got a bunch of these other parameters as well. So the one thing that I noticed is that this list is a bit shorter compared to the MK908, which gave us a bit more information. Now the graph here, you can check out for example the MAP sensor, the air intake and things like that is going to give you the graph. Now I didn't show you that with the Autel, but you basically got the same option, and we got the actuators as well. So this is again basically going to be the same list, so there isn't really a lot of difference there. So when it comes to the adjustments, again we got pretty much the same list. There really isn't too much of a difference. The one difference, however, is that we got this side screen which gives us like all of the important notes that we gotta follow when we do a certain actions. All in all, when it comes to engine ECU, these two diagnostic tools are basically the same. Keep in mind that one of them costs 2,000 euros, the other one is going to cost you 100 euros, but again bear in mind that you got to have your own laptop or tablet. Now we're gonna move on to the ABS module, so I'm gonna hit this one right here. Again, here we got some of the basic options: the ECU information, trouble codes, live data, active test, special function, the ECU configuration information. So we're not gonna bother with the ECU information. Here you can check out the trouble codes, so we ain't got none. Again, we got the live data, so you can see we got the speed, wheel speed, front left, front right, rear left, brake oil pressure, steering angle sensor, and things like that. Now since this is going to be the ABS module, this list is not going to be as extensive. However, again, these information are very valuable. For example, if I would have a problem with the ABS sensor, I would put the car on the left, I would spin one of the wheels and we would get the speed right here. So again, this is going to be very useful, simply because I can diagnose the faulty ABS sensor or module very fast. Now we're going to go to the active tests. So we got the anti-slip regulation, ASR, electronic brake distribution. This car does not have electronic brake, recirculation pump, inlet valve, outlet valve, priming valve, hill holder, safety lamp, and so on. Now the bad thing about this diagnostic tool is that some of these options are not actually available on this car, so it's going to give you more options than it's capable to do. Let's check out the special function. So we got the brake pressure calibration, inlet valve calibration, the pilot valve calibration, steering wheel angle sensor offset calibration. So this is good. For example, if you are changing some of these sensors and things like that, you can use these options to recalibrate the system. Now let's move on to the MultiEcuScan. So again, here from the left side, I'm gonna select ABS, I'm gonna hit connect. So again, this is gonna be some of the basic info when it comes to the ABS ECU. We got the tab for the errors, parameters. So you can see that this list is essentially the same one as the one on the MK908. Again, we got the graph tab. If we select some of these parameters, we got the actuators. So you can see again this list as the one on the Autel MK908 is basically the same. And we got the adjustment tab. Now the good thing about this particular diagnostic tool is that we can actually perform each one of these adjustments, and there is no unnecessary stuff or the things that are not available. So you can see you can essentially bleed the system through here, reset steering angle, do the calibration, and so on. As you can see, the difference is not too big, but the main thing is that the MultiEcuScan kinda knows this car a bit better, at least from my experience. So I'm not gonna bore you with the stuff, they do the same. Now let's check out the main difference, and that's gonna be with the readout of body control module. Alright, now let's check out the body control module. So again, we got the basic menu here. Let's check out the trouble codes. So we don't have any. Let's see the live data. Alright, so as you can see here, this list is quite extensive. So the body control module essentially does most of the stuff on your car. It controls the fog lights, high beams, and a lot of different components. You can also check out the key on counter, external temperature, and so on. So you can see that this list is quite extensive. Let's check out the active tests. So as you can see here, we can turn on the parking lights, left turn lights, right turn lights, plate lights, high beams, and we can control even the lights on the inside of the cabin. Now let's check out the special function. So here we can execute the proxy alignment procedure, we can program the keys, change the country codes, check out the anti-theft information, and so on. The main thing, as I was talking about, is as you'll be able to see in just a minute, there are a lot of things that this particular diagnostic tool lacks in this area. So we do have some options, but I played around with it a little bit, and some of them it doesn't do right. We can do some of the main ones as proxy alignment procedure, but there are a lot of stuff that can be done properly. Alright, now let's see what we got here in the MultiEcuScan when it comes to body control module. So I'm gonna hit this first option, I'm gonna hit connect. Again, you can see that it's asking us for the yellow adapter. So we got some of the basic stuff here, no fault codes. The parameters are again basically going to be the same as the ones on the MK908. However, I do think that we get a bit more options here. When it comes to actuators, you can see that we can turn on and off a bunch of these components. Now let's go to the adjustments. So here we get the power supply mode, alarm mode, indicators command, rearm the inertia switch. So if the inertia switch is activated, you can use this option to reactivate it. And we also got key programming. I actually done a video on the channel where I used this option to reprogram some of the keys. I'm gonna hit disconnect, and we're gonna hit can info. So this is basically where the multi-ECU shines. You can see the list of all of the components here, and which are the present ones and which are not. So you can see all of the nodes here on the CAN bus network. Again, the list is quite extensive. I'm not gonna go through it all. I'm gonna show you some a bit more interesting stuff. So you can see that we got the CAN setup here slash proxy alignment procedure. Now this is basically the most useful thing on the MultiEcuScan software. So it gives us the warning that the vehicle is properly configured and that the proxy alignment is not needed. I'm gonna hit Y. Again, you can see the different nodes here. So this is essentially what I used when I removed the Blue and Me module. I had to do the proxy alignment procedure for the odometer to stop flashing. Now when it comes to adjustments, this is a very interesting thing right here. So you can see that we get the list of all of the available options as cruise control, the speed limitation function, the display of external temperature on the dash, the rain sensor, and you can see which of these options are enabled or disabled. So what I did here, I basically used this option to disable the stop and start function. It still says present right here. However, when you disable it, you got to do the proxy alignment procedure and you can turn it off. So this, as I said, is a €100 tool, and you can basically do some of the basic programming here. You actually can't do any of this stuff on the Autel MK908. So this is where our €100 diagnostic tool outshines the €2000 MK908. You can see the rain sensor, the dust sensor, they are all not present. And for example, if I wanted to install one, I would install it physically, and then I would go here and basically activate this option in the software. So this is incredibly useful. Now the main purpose of this video is to show you that you don't have to spend thousands of euros on diagnostic tool if you want to work on your car. So why is that Autel worth €2000? Well, if you are a car mechanic, this €2000 Autel will be able to access pretty much all of the modules on all of the cars. So if you are working on different brands and models, you're going to be able to access all of them with one diagnostic tool. Now on the other side, if you are working on, for example, Alfa Romeos and Fiat cars, the MultiEcuScan is going to be more than enough. For example, you can see all of the brands here that you will be able to access with this diagnostic tool. So now to conclude this video, our clear winner when it comes to the ultimate diagnostic tool for Alfa Romeo is going to be the MultiEcuScan. The main reason for that is, of course, going to be the price and its capabilities. So you can basically get all of the functions of the more expensive diagnostic tool for basically just €100, and that is the main reason why this is our clear winner. So anyway, that would be all for this video. I hope you find it useful. If you did, hit that like button and support our channel by subscribing and by sharing our content with the rest of car enthusiasts.